Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this great event for Parent and Family webinar. I will give you a brief introduction. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am the e-recruiter at the University of California, Merced, and I will also be your moderator for this online event. I would like to give you a couple of quick tips to help you through the webinar. If you would like to adjust your audio settings, you can do so by clicking in the lower left corner of your screen. There's an audio settings button there. You can make your adjustments as you see fit. If you would like to adjust your screen size, you can do so by clicking View Options in the top portion of your screen. Also, if you would like to join in with the Q&A participation, which we have send us some questions, that would be great. You can do so by clicking the Q&A button at the lower portion of your screen. You can go ahead and type in that question and send it our way. We will do our best to get to your questions throughout the presentation, or we will also be having a live Q&A panel at the end of our session. At this time, we would like to start our presentation, and I will hand this off to my colleague, Martin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Martin Reed. I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Life and Residence Education. I am originally from San Diego, California. I've been at UC Merced for about 7 years now, and I work primarily with residence education, student life, parents and families, and off-campus housing. At this time, I'd like to let my colleague introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Juarez. I serve as the Associate Director for Transition Programs in our Calvin E. Bright Success Center on campus. I have been with UC Merced now for about 14 years, and in my responsibilities, I work with 3 programs, including the New Student Orientation Program, our STEP Scholars Program, and our TRV Program, which is a program for transfer, returning, and veteran scholars.
My name is Juan Romn, and I am the Welcome Center Coordinator with the Office of Admissions. Again, welcome to this webinar. One of my main roles on campus is managing all the campus visits on campus, and I'll be talking a little bit about that later on throughout the presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lourdes Sanchez, and I am a first-generation parent of a UC Merced student, and I will be here to help give you some advice and answer any questions that you may have at the very end.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us. My name is Iona Nee, and I'm the Senior Admissions Advisor with the Office of Admissions, as well as an alumna of UC Merced. I service a good chunk of the Southern California region, everywhere from LA County to San Diego County, as well as Orange County and Hawaii.
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Sanchez. I am Parent Engagement Coordinator at UC Merced. I also work with our Success Mentor program out of the Calvin E. Bright Success Center, and during the summer I work with New Student Orientation. I'm also a current 4th year student at UC Merced, so I'll be graduating in just a month or less now, and I'm so excited to welcome you all here today and to answer any questions you may have. And I'll throw it back to Ricky.
Hi, everyone. So we appreciate the introductions of all of our panelists. And at this time, we would like to go ahead and start this great presentation. And again, the topic tonight is the Parent and Family webinar. Please don't forget that we do welcome your questions through the question and answer panel. So you can go ahead and just use that Q&A button and submit your questions. We will do our best to get to those throughout the presentation, as well as the live question and answer session at the end of the presentation. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Before I pass it over to Iona to talk about admissions, I'd like to first share with you all that we do have some parent and family resources that you might find helpful. First and foremost, we do have a parent and family phone number that you can call. It's area code 209-769-2817. And you can call that number and we will get back to you and answer any of your questions. Another thing I'd like to mention is our Connect for Parents on Facebook. You can find us by searching Connect for Parents Greater California on Facebook, and it's run by students to help parents understand and support parents throughout the process of transitioning from high school to college. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Iona to discuss admissions.
Hi, everyone. Welcome again. My name is Iona Nee with Office of Admissions. First, we'd like to share with you our admitted student website. With the admitted student website, family and guardians, as well as parents, have access to a wonderful amount of resources. As you can see here in the screenshot, you have access to all of our admitted student webinars. We've actually been hosting webinars throughout each week since March, everything from the next steps, where we discuss important dates and deadlines, as well as housing, the Office of Financial Aid, as well as student panels with both first year and transfer students. In this screenshot, you can also access what the next steps are, as there are a lot of important steps once a student commits to UC Merced. And then we also have a screenshot here with all the important dates and deadlines. And I will be going shortly over one of the most important deadlines, the next few slides. And we also want to keep you informed of the University of California Office of the President's updates, especially regarding COVID-19. As you can see, there is a QR code on the right-hand side, and if you have a smartphone, you can actually use the camera application, and it will scan the QR code and take you directly to the URL regarding all of UCOP's Office of the President's updates there regarding admissions as well as financial aid. And most importantly, we also have newsletters for parents and family and guardians to stay connected with our important dates and deadlines. Next slide, please. And the UC Merced portal is, I like to say, every applicant's best friend. This is your primary connection, your student's primary connection, to find out their admissions decision, as well as access their checklist. This is where all of our offices will list, or I'd say most of our offices will list important documents, dates, and deadlines. And this is where they can access their financial aid award. This is also where they receive the primary communication for each respective office. Keep in mind that if they are not receiving emails, they will receive it through their portal. So if they're not receiving it at their direct email that they used in the UC application, they will receive all the important information, dates and deadlines here in the UC Merced portal. Next slide, please. So one of the most important dates and deadlines for their admissions is they're submitting their SIR, which is their statement of intent to register. And this is essentially your student committing to UC Merced, and the deadline is May 1st. So hopefully UC Merced will be your student's home for the next 4 years or 2 years if they're a transfer applicant. And they can submit their SIR through the UC Merced portal. Please keep in mind that there is a $250 non-refundable deposit to submit their SIR, so committing that they want to attend UC Merced. Keep in mind that the SIR deposit of $250 may be deferred depending on your financial aid. So depending on your household income, as well as how many students are dependent on that income. And if your student is not eligible to have that $250 deferred, it will automatically request that you pay the $250 on the spot. Considering with COVID-19, we understand that it is affecting household incomes. You can request to have that SIR deposit deferred until August. And if you're not eligible to get it deferred, you can email our office, admissions@ucmerced.edu, and you can just you can essentially appeal to have that deposit deferred. Next slide, please. And here, as I mentioned earlier, our admitted student webpage, you can see at the link below, this is where it will take you to the family resources page where you can receive all the dates and deadlines, as well as newsletters. And we also have a forum for you to stay connected. This is where you can input your primary contact information and receive any emails as well as texts to stay up to date and informed regarding our campus's updates, especially with COVID-19. And this is our direct office email as well as phone number. And as I mentioned, if you're looking to appeal the SIR deadline to have it deferred in August, you can email our admissions email there. And I'd say the best way to stay connected is to also follow us on any social media, because we provide a lot of real life updates there as well. And now I'll hand it off to my colleague, Juan Romn at the Welcome Center, to share with you more about opportunities to visit campus virtually.
Thank you, Iona. Again, my name is Juan Romn, and I am the Welcome Center Coordinator here at UC Merced with the Office of Admissions. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exploring UC Merced virtually. I know that visiting campus is a big part of deciding whether UC Merced is the choice for your son or daughter. But we here at UC Merced are finding the best virtual resources and exploring various resources on how we can do things virtually. So there are a couple of ways, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can visit UC Merced virtually and still get to explore the campus as part of your decision making. The very first one, if I can get the next slide, please, is our most up-to-date virtual campus drone tours. So this was a project developed over the years, and as of a couple of days, it has been launched. So you can visit 4 different virtual tours as we speak, and explore various parts of the campus, from academics, research, student life, and so forth. And the neat part about this particular drone tour is that you have a live student tour guide and a current student at UC Merced from various majors talking to you about the campus and giving you a walkthrough. So it's very neat. I definitely recommend to check that out. The link is shown below, and I'll provide my information at the end as well if you want to connect as well. Let me show you the second way to explore our campus. Next slide, please. Is another design that was just developed, an interactive virtual tour. This particular tour has a lot more information. It's very interactive. You can explore various parts of the campus. It even incorporates housing tours. I know housing is also another part of the decision-making of attending university. So definitely also check that out, and the link is provided below. And then the third and other option you have is 360-degree virtual campus tour. This one doesn't really have our 2020 project, the newer part of the campus, but you still can explore the other part, the older part of campus. It's very interactive. You get to get inside the buildings and explore those parts. And the other neat part about this tour as well is that it's led by a student tour guide. And then the last thing that I want to share with you today is on the next slide is that we'll be launching our very first student panel that will consist of 5 different student tour guides from different majors. And students will be able to ask questions regarding the campus, whether it is student life, academics, research, and whatnot, and get a student perspective and answer on how campus life looks like at UC Merced. So it's very interactive. The other neat part about it is that I'll be your host on that particular student panel webinar, and that is scheduled for next Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Again, thank you, and if you have questions through the Q&A questions, I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'll go ahead and now pass it to my next colleague.
Hello again, folks. Jason Juarez, here to talk to you today about the orientation experience for this summer. In the past, orientation was viewed as a one-day experience, particularly for our parents and guests. This year, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and all of us working remotely at this point in time, we are in the process of shifting our orientation experience to an online module. Through that, we are viewing it as a 3-part experience, as indicated here. And the 3 parts are specifically with respect to your students. The first one is an online pre-orientation. Students will get access to that after they have completed their registration for orientation. That will open up on June 1st. That is a digital experience that is asynchronous, meaning they will just participate it whenever they have time. They can start it and stop it at any given point in time. It is roughly a 30 to 45-minute experience. After that is the actual orientation experience, which is what is used to traditionally be held on campus, will now be held virtually. Students and parents and guests are still registering for one specific day. We have 9 dates over the course of the summer, and I will show those to you in just a few moments. But you all will participate in one of our orientation day experiences, where there will be both a student presentation as well as a parent and guest presentation. And because we are going to be handling this virtually, they will be at different times of the day. We are still working on the details as to what time those experiences will begin and whether it is the students or the parents or guests who will go first, but we are still working on those details. But they will be delivered likely a morning session and an early afternoon session. The third part, and this is available to both students as well as parents and guests as well, are ongoing engagement opportunities. We are working to develop regular office hours for folks to be able to drop in and connect with our orientation staff to learn more about the campus. We are also going to be delivering additional webinars and instructional content specifically designed for the two audiences, for students as well as for you as the parents and guests and loved ones of our students. The content for each of those will be tailored specifically to the needs of the given population, meaning that for you all as the parents and families and loved ones of our students, we'll be talking a lot about how you can better support your students, give you information on how to leverage the resources to support your scholar as well, how to connect them and be an advocate for them and their experience at UC Merced, both academically as well as personally as well, because we recognize that for students when they are starting at UC Merced, they're not just here for their academics. They are going to be very much living on campus or in the city, and as such, we'll have a lot of questions about that. And so our hope with orientation is that we prepare them adequately for each of those components of their transition to life at UC Merced. Next slide, please. So there is a fee for orientation. We used to charge a little more than we are currently charging, but we had to reevaluate the orientation fee in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and the reality that so many families are experiencing with respect to an impact on household income and whatnot. As such, our fee is currently a $50 per student fee. This also does include a parent and guest orientation experience. So there is not an additional fee for the parents and guests. It is basically a one fee per family sort of experience. In terms of what the fee pays for, it provides access to technology for our staff to be able to deliver the online orientation experience, both the online pre-orientation, the actual orientation day, as well as the ongoing delivery of experiences throughout the summer. Additionally, we employ a staff of 33 students, and we want to ensure that their time and labor is paid for through their work with orientation, and the $50 fee will cover the majority of those costs. Next slide, please. I mentioned the 9 orientation dates that we have listed here. They will start in the end of June, on June 23rd, as you can see here, and they will continue through Saturday, July 25th. We have 3 Saturday orientations, those being Saturday, June 27th, Saturday, July 18th, and Saturday, July 25th. You will note that we also have some Spanish parent and family sessions, as we understand that there are a number of families who speak primarily Spanish and or prefer to speak Spanish or better understand Spanish. And so those particular dates, the Tuesday, June 30th, the Saturday, July 18th, as well as a portion of Saturday, July 25th will be delivered exclusively in Spanish. The one exception, as I started to mention, is the Saturday, July 25th, where there will be 2 sessions, an English session as well as a Spanish session. For those of you who are the loved ones, guardians, support systems for our transfer students, that experience will be on Friday, July 10th. Okay, I think next slide, please. All right, so that was it for us for orientation. I'll be around to answer some questions in a little while. I'll pass it off to now for Maria.
Thank you, Jason. My name is Maria Rosales. I'm the Associate Director for Residence Education, and I have been at UC Merced about 3 years and have been working mostly with living learning communities. But just to tell you a little bit about residence education and what to expect when you're living on campus, our mission is to create safe and welcoming student-centered residential communities. We cultivate our living learning experiences to support academic accomplishments, diversity, and respect for human dignity and student success. Next slide, please. So who we are a team of 57 resident assistants who live on the resident hall floors with our students. We have 4 resident education coordinators who live on campus. They're master degree level professionals. And then we have 15 office assistants who support our students at the Residence Education Service Desk. We serve as a resource mediator, counselor, advisor, essentially guidance for students through their transition from high school to college while living and adjusting to campus life. We coordinate co-curricular programs in partnership with the Resident Hall Association. We implement a resident education model. What that means is that students can expect to have one-on-one meetings with their resident assistant a minimum of 3 to 4 times per year. And all of this is to build community, a sense of belonging, and to keep students engaged and aware of the different opportunities available to them on campus. Next slide, please. So today I want to highlight living learning communities. Right now on our campus, we have about 9 living learning communities and growing. What is a living learning community? Living learning communities are essentially a space where students share the floor, and usually the students have similar interests. They're done in partnership with another campus organization on campus. And they are really an opportunity for an extra layer of support for students, but also to help them continue their development in and outside of the classroom. Next slide, please. So this is an example of the living learning communities we currently have. Some of them are themed programs, some of them are identity-based programs, and then we have some that focus on academics. 4 of our living learning communities are out of the School of Natural Sciences. So for example, Beyond the MD is for folks who are interested in being in the medical field, but not necessarily becoming a doctor. I encourage you all to learn and explore more about the living learning community options, mostly open to first-year students. Next slide, please. So when students are filling out their housing application, they just need to indicate what LLC they are interested in. The students have the option to select up to 2. Students will know if they've been accepted into a living learning community when the coordinator for that living learning community reaches out to them, or they'd be notified by email. Next slide, please. Every living learning community has its benefits, and they have specific learning outcomes and unique focus. For the most part, the benefits of participating in a living learning community is not only the support and mentorship, but also the connection to resources and other opportunities. Some living learning communities allow students to work towards their intellectual badges, which is a requirement for undergraduate students. There's a total of 12 badges they need to earn. They support the relationship building and community building, but also networking. There's direct access to faculty, professionals, and advisors. And the majority of the LLCs have some type of programming that comes along with it throughout the year that students are expected to participate in. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So a lot of times students ask what they should expect from participating in a living learning community. You should definitely expect some type of welcome reception, an orientation, or a retreat at the beginning of the year. But for the most part, LLCs require students to either enroll in an undergraduate study skill course or a seminar. Some have a specific class that they need to take together. Some require 4 hours of study sessions per week, or participation in socials and workshops. There's check-ins that happen with either the graduate fellow who's a PhD scholar on campus or a counselor or advisor for the program. Next slide, please. And to end the presentation under residence education, we just want to inform you of some important housing information. So for those folks who are looking to apply for housing, the application is open now. Roommate selection is also happening now until June. Housing assignments for the fall of 2020 will be mailed in July. And move-in will be Saturday, August 22nd and Sunday, August 23rd. And so now I will go ahead and turn it back over to, actually we have a special guest. It's one of our first generation college student moms, and I believe Lourdes is on here with us.
I am. Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Lourdes Sanchez, and I am a first-generation parent to a UC Merced student, which is actually, she's in her 4th year. She'll be graduating in just a couple weeks virtually, but, you know, thankfully, you know, these last 4 years have been wonderful. And I just want to say congratulations to all of you. This is a huge step in your students' future. You should all be extremely proud. So I'm basically here today to offer some advice as our role as a parent or family member. I believe that it's important that we provide encouragement, emotional support, love, and assist our students in finding the resources to look for their questions, you know, to find the answers to their questions. Our students are extremely capable and resourceful, and you know, we are here to provide so much support to them. And UC Merced does have many resources to help you and your student, you know, find the answers to any questions that you may have. During these last 4 years, I've seen the campus grow, and I'm excited, you know, to see all the different buildings that they've added. And when the campus opens up again, even though my daughter will be graduated, I will be returning to go visit and go see all the, you know, see the expansion. So I just want to say welcome, and if anybody has any questions, if anyone has any questions, you know, at the end I will be around to answer them for you. So I will be passing it on to Elizabeth Sanchez.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all again for joining us. Like they mentioned, my name is Elizabeth Sanchez, and I am a current student. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A section, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. I'm now going to go ahead and turn it over to Ricky, who will be discussing the Q&A section.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Ricky, and as I mentioned at the beginning in my introduction, I am the e-recruiter at the University of California, Merced, as well as your moderator for this event. So what we're getting ready to do now is start the live Q&A session. So it's a question and answer session. Thank you so much for those questions that you've been sending in throughout the presentation. We have been addressing those, and I believe some have been answered already. So at this time, we'd like to go ahead and take a look at some of those that are here, and we can toss those out to some of our expert speakers here on our panel. Let me go ahead and see which one we want to start with here. We have lots of questions about Fafsa coming in, so we can try and answer those through the Q&A chat box. Let's see what else we have here. It looks like one student had missed one of our links for the campus tour, so we'll try and address that one as well in the chat option. And so one question that's coming in is, will students be able to live in the residence halls in the fall? So that more than likely is related to the turn of events that are happening right now. So I'm not sure if Martin if you'd be able to answer that question, or Maria.
Repeat that question, Ricky.
Yes, there was someone that's asking the status of the residence halls for fall living. So I believe that's in regards to kind of the uncertain times that we're in right now, wondering what might be happening in the fall.
Yeah, at this time, I don't have that information. Martin would be the best person to answer that. As far as I know, we are moving in August 22nd, August 23rd.
Hello, this is Martin. At this time, we are looking at planning to open for the fall, but there is still a possibility those plans could change depending on the situation with the COVID-19 and the stay-at-home order. And we'll know more about fall sometime in May.
Perfect. Thank you so much for our experts in the housing department. We have a question now coming in about orientation. So Jason, maybe you can address this. They're asking if orientation is a requirement for them to do.
Yes, I was actually just typing a response to that in Q&A, but I'm happy to answer that here as well.
Sure.
Orientation is considered a required experience for incoming students. Part of that is that the orientation experience helps prepare them for a successful transition to university and making that academic transition as well as that personal transition as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, and just to all the panelists as well, if you do get some questions in that Q&A panel and you do happen to answer them there, feel free though to at some point address those live while we are broadcasting to our audience, because some of those questions may actually overlap from some of the other folks that are in our attendee list tonight. So let me go ahead and just keep scrolling here. We do have a couple of repeat questions about some of those topics we've already mentioned. Okay, so there's a question also about housing. So do all students have to belong to one of the living learning communities to have campus housing, or is that different than the regular residence halls?
Yeah, no, you don't have to belong or participate in a living learning community to live on campus. Those are special opportunities that we offer students who are studying either a specific major or are part of a community, a broader community. For example, if you're a transfer student, we have a transfer LLC, and it helps students really not only build community among themselves, but also share resources and navigate the next 2 years of UC Merced. So it's not required, but it is an opportunity that we encourage first-year students to participate in.
Great, thank you so much for that response. I'm gonna go ahead and keep scrolling here. Like I said, we do have some repeated questions here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and scroll through and find one that hasn't been asked yet. And let's see. A lot of questions coming in about the LLC. Some of you may see some of those in the chat. Let's see. Is there a specific dorm available for students who major in mathematics?
No, there isn't a specific dorm or resident hall to applied math. I'm thinking it's applied math that the student is majoring in. We do have some folks who, for example, engineering students do live on the south side of campus, which is our newer buildings, only because it's, you know, on the engineering end. But we do have, I wouldn't say we have a community for every major. We're not there yet, but if you go onto our website and learn about the different opportunities we have for living learning communities, you'll learn more about maybe one that interests you most, regardless of the major that you are you're pursuing.
Great, thank you so much for that. So this is another question about housing. Will there be a fee for registering for housing?
My understanding is that there is an application fee. I don't want to say 100, 200, or 300 because I'm not sure, but I know that there is a fee that goes along with your application.
Okay, perfect. And Maria, you may want to hang on for this one too, or possibly Martin. It's another housing question for us. So are freshman students required to stay in the dorms? What is our housing or residency requirement for students?
Yeah, so first years are required to live on campus. There is a housing exemption form that you can fill out if the criteria for an exemption applies to you. For example, if you live within, I believe, 55 miles of the campus, you're able to get an exemption. If you are a veteran or someone who has a job off campus or someone taking care of someone who needs medical attention, you can go onto our website and find out more information. But for the most part, all freshmen are required to live on campus.
Great, and another one for housing. It's a popular topic. So how many buildings for the dorms and residence halls are there, and do we have co-ed floors or same gender floors?
Yeah, so all of our floors are co-ed. We have 3, 4, 5. We have 5 buildings on the north side of campus, and then plus our Valley Terraces that are similar to apartment complexes. And then on the south side of campus, we have 4 new buildings as well. So we have quite a bit of buildings. They are all co-ed, so folks share bathrooms on the floor.
Excellent. And another question coming in for housing and the roommate situation. Someone specifically asking if they can be a roommate with a senior, since they already have a friend that's a senior, if they would be able to room with them.
Priority is given to first and second years for housing. There is a 2-year live-on requirement, so that's why we give priority to first and second years. I would not, I can't say that this student would be able to room with that senior because that's not what we are allowing right now. Yeah.
Perfect. And if Martin, if you're still online with us here, we are getting quite a few questions, if you're seeing those in the Q&A section, that are related to the COVID-19 situation that we're all facing right now, the uncertain times. So we're kind of unsure of where things will go. We're all in the same place with that. But we do have a lot of questions coming in regarding housing and what happens if the COVID-19 situation continues, if things go online for the fall, what happens to their housing and will they be refunded? All of those types of questions. So if you can maybe repeat what you shared earlier with our population here that's listening in, that would be wonderful.
Hello, everyone. This is Martin Reed. I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Life and Residence Education. The University of California system is considering all different possible scenarios. We have not made a decision as a system yet about the fall semester. We are going through different planning scenarios, and as information comes in from the state and the federal government, we take all that information in, and we are kind of just reviewing all the options and hope to make a decision sometime in May about the fall semester.
Great, thank you so much for that. I know, like I said, that's a very popular question coming in right now through our Q&A section, so thank you for that. So this is a question I can answer. It's an easy one. Someone is asking how quickly our webinar recordings make it to our website. So we do our best to get these up and running for you all for the replay within just a couple days of them airing, like this one is. So if you just give us a couple days, you should be able to go to that website, which is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. Again, it's admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars, and I will go ahead and respond in the Q&A with that link as well. And going on to the next question here, is there a living learning community for engineering majors?
Not yet, but we are, we do house engineering majors together, and usually that's over in the newer side of campus in Glacier or Granite. So there is an engineering community. Actually, the engineering community is a very strong community on our campus. With or without a living learning community, they definitely have high engagement and support each other throughout not only their academic, but also professional growth. One of them is, I believe it's called SHIP, the Society of Hispanic Engineers. And then Hermanos Unidos is another organization on campus that has a lot of engineers involved. So there are other opportunities, just not an assigned living learning community yet.
Great, thank you for that. Another question coming in I can address for everyone. The question is, my financial aid situation has changed in the past couple of weeks. Is it too late to apply for financial aid? So of course, it's not too late. It's never too late to apply. We did have a March 2nd priority filing deadline for Fafsa and CADA. So that would have been the priority filing deadline. You may not be eligible for certain types of institutional aid if you do miss that deadline. However, it's never too late. So go ahead and get that document submitted right away. We can try and get you packaged. Usually within 7 to 14 days, you'll get some type of response from the financial aid office. If you do have further questions though, you can go ahead and give a call to the Students First Center, and their number, I can also put this in the chat, in the Q&A, but their number, if you'd like to jot it down, is 209-228-7178. Again, 209-228-7178. That is for the Students First Center. And like I said, they can address financial aid questions, as admissions, as well as register. And then if you do need to speak to someone that is more specialized, they can also refer you to someone in that specific department as well. And moving on to our next question here, we have quite a few coming in, so thank you so much to our great attendees for sending in wonderful questions for us here for our panelists. Let's see if we can stump someone with one of these that's coming in. Let's see. So if someone has applied for housing, how do they choose the actual housing that they'd like to live in? They want to select an LLC or a specific residence hall?
Yeah, the application takes you through that process. So you'll fill out, of course, your information, and then it'll start taking you through your preferences, right? What kind of room are you interested in? If that's a double, triple, or a quad, and then it'll go into the LLCs if you're interested in those. So there's several steps to the housing application. So, but within that, there's these options embedded.
Wonderful. So the next question, I'm going to specifically toss it over to Elizabeth. And the question that we have is, can we please go into further detail about the intellectual badges? So I'll let Elizabeth speak a little bit to her knowledge about general education and things of that nature with academics.
Sure. As a fourth-year student, I myself do not partake in the GE badges because that was something that was recently implemented. But I do work with our Success Mentor program, who mentors first-year students who are working through those badges. And so I pulled them up just so that I don't miss any. So I'll go ahead and list them off. But the first one is Media and Visual Analysis, Scientific Method, Literacy and Textual Analysis, Quantitative and Numerical Analysis, Societies and Cultures of the Past, Diversity and Identity, Global Awareness, Sustainability, Practice and Applied Knowledge, Ethics, and then there's Leadership, Community, and Engaging the World. These all can be completed in several ways, and there's different ways that you can complete them, not only now, but there are different ways that are being submitted each day. So let's say that there is a badge that you want to complete with an outside of classroom experience. There are many of those, and you can go to the GU website. It's ge.ucmerced.edu, and you'll find all the badges as well as what's currently accepted to complete that badge, as well as I believe you can submit, and they're constantly reviewing the different things that will count for a badge. And so it's a really cool way that you can complete your GEs without worrying about oh, I'm this major and I want to switch to this major. It covers all of them, and it's a really cool way to be able to give you outside experience as well and give you that freedom to get all your GEs, but also get that experience.
Great response, Elizabeth. Thank you so much with that student perspective. So there's another question coming in about financial aid that I can address. So students asking, when will students find out if they qualify for Fafsa, and if they don't qualify for it, when will they apply for student loans? So I'll kind of do a little bit of a myth buster here. So anyone that fills out a Fafsa, it's not so much that you qualify for Fafsa, it's whether or not you qualify for certain or specific types of financial aid awards. So if you fill out Fafsa, you will have some type of financial aid award package. Whether or not it's including student loans, scholarships, or grant aid or institutional aid, that's really where the question comes into play. So that really varies depending on your income, your parents' income, and lots of other factors that go into that equation through Fafsa. So to say that if you qualify or not, all you have to do is just submit that Fafsa application. It is a free federal financial aid application, so go ahead and get that in as soon as you can. As I mentioned before, March 2nd was the priority filing deadline, but it's not too late. You can go ahead and get that in as soon as possible. The follow-up to that was, if you don't qualify, then will you apply for student loans? To answer that, yes, you could apply for student loans. They will be offered to you as part of your financial aid award package if you're eligible. There's a couple of different types of loans. I won't go too far in depth with them, but you would have either subsidized student loan, unsubsidized student loan, or possibly a parent plus loan. So there's 3 different types. The first 2 I mentioned do come in the student's name. The plus loan is, of course, the parent plus loan. So that would be in the parent's name. Again, it's not a guarantee, but that would be included in your financial aid award package. So you should get that within a couple weeks of submitting your Fafsa. So go ahead and get that in if you haven't done so yet. And let's see what other questions we have here. Someone is asking if there's a place online or something that someone here can provide for us about anything related to safety statistics for living on campus and what type of protocols we have for that.
Ricky, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Yeah, so someone's just asking about the safety on campus. They're asking if there's any type of safety statistics for campus living.
There are, so this is Martin Reed. There are safety statistics that you can find on our UC Merced Police Department website. We have our Clery report. that is available for the public. So you can see all the different stats related to crimes, either on campus or around the campus. And again, it's on the UC Merced Public Safety website. In terms of safety on campus, I'm happy to say that when we do our quality of life survey, over 90% of the students that live on campus reported that they feel safe on campus. And that's been consistent for the past 7 years since I've been here working at UC Merced, primarily because we have full-time professional staff that live on campus to respond to emergencies. We have student resident assistants that also reside on campus. And then we work very closely with our public safety office to patrol the area, along with student community service officers, to make sure that anything that they respond to any like situations that don't seem safe. And because of our location, we are pretty much 5 miles, we're about 5-7 miles away from downtown Merced. The campus is pretty isolated from the rest of the community. And so compared to other universities that I've worked at, like I've worked at UC Irvine and UC Berkeley, we are a pretty safe campus because of our location.
I'd also like to jump in and add that as a student, I've always felt safe at UC Merced. I know that because of COVID-19, you all aren't able to visit campus in the way that we originally anticipated, but that's something that I felt the moment that I stepped on campus. The community, the safety, the welcoming environment, and I've felt that my entire time. I know that in the beginning, my parents were concerned about, oh, what about late classes, or this is your first time away from home, but the late classes, I mean, we all get out of class at the same time, so it's not like I'm walking late out of class by myself. There's always a group of people around when we leave class, and there's blue poles around campus, so you can always press the blue pole button and it'll contact PD. We have safety, like student safety officers walking around with yellow jackets or vests, and like Martin shared, it's a secluded campus, and so even the parking lot is a bit away from the building, so unless you're there for school or for UC Merced, it's not like the community members are just walking onto campus from the city.
Great, thank you both so much for that. And just as a professional staff, I can also chime in and just say that I've always felt really safe on campus with the University Police Department that we have, as well as there are student workers that will give you escorts if necessary. For any reason, they'll come by with a little golf cart or shuttle to give you a ride someplace if you're feeling unsafe or just for some reason need some help. So I, as a professional staff, career staff, I felt very safe on campus, even when working later into the evening or for special events after dark. So a couple more questions here. These are related to housing. So are the bathrooms single gender? And if so, what type of shower situation is that? If it's single gender or mixed?
Yeah, the bathrooms are single gendered. We do have some gender inclusive housing. There's a different person you would talk to about that. But for the most part, they're co-ed floors, and there is a female and a male bathroom. So females and males are not sharing the bathrooms.
Great, thank you for that. And another housing question, how many students are allowed in each room? So I know we have a couple of different styles, if someone can touch on that.
So the question is, how many students per room?
Yes, so in other words, single, double, triple, quad?
Yeah, so it depends on your budget and it depends on your preference. So what we have available are doubles, triples, and quads. You will find, just depending on what you're used to, right? Because some folks, it takes a little more to adjust living with other people. So some folks might want to start off with just a double, or some might want to, they're okay with living with more than 2 people, and so they might pick a quad. But those are the 3 options we have right now: double, triple, and quads. And it just depends on your preference and your budget. And you can find that information on housing in the housing website as well.
Great, thank you. So a question coming in, it's a little bit more directed to transportation parking services, but maybe one of you can address it as well, just from your experience. How much are parking permits, if we have that number as well? Someone is also asking, are first year students allowed to park on campus and bring a car?
I can go ahead and chime in as a student. So I know that the parking permit fee has changed or will be changing, but personally I take the bus. Although I know that students who live on campus cannot have a car. I at first was really concerned about that across any UC or any school, but I found a lot of ways to get around. We have our Cat Tracks bus system that takes students into town, and it has different stops and different lines, as well as we have zip cars. Zip cars are available to students on campus, so they would just get a zip card account, and then we have multiple zip cars available on campus. And that was a great way for me to make friends, not only with my roommates, but just different people. You were like, you know, you want to go to Target? Let's go to Target, and let's figure out the bus. So unfortunately, all those students cannot have a car while on campus unless there's a special circumstance, and that would be worked out with TAPS. It worked out perfectly fine for me.
Wonderful. And of course, everyone wants to go to Target, right? There's always someone going to Target. You can always hitch a ride with someone, I'm sure. All right, so another question here about the LLCs that we offer. A student is wondering, is there a specific dorm for biology students? And what about the natural sciences LLC? Would that be a good one for them to select?
Yeah, there's no specific dorm or resident hall for biology students. However, the School of Natural Sciences has 4 LLCs, which is Beyond the MD, Carson House, Aristotle House, and Bond House. Those are all housed in in Glacier Point. So whether or not you are in an LLC or not, if you are in the Glacier Point area, you will find community for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you for that response. So we have some questions coming in also about the meal plans that we offer, which is obviously a part of the dining contract. If someone can speak to what type of meal plans we do offer, because the student is recognizing that since they don't have any type of access to prepare their own meals, of course, they can have a mini fridge and things of that nature in their room and a microwave, of course. So maybe speak to that a little bit, but in terms of having a cooktop and those types of things for a larger meal, if you can touch on the meal plan options that we have on campus.
Hello, so this is Martin Reed. We only have one meal plan option for students in the fall 2020. It's an unlimited meal plan. And they set it up that way to deal with housing or food security issues that the students were experiencing. So it's one meal plan, and it's unlimited for 7 days a week.
Wonderful. And Martin, can you follow up a little bit on what types of things students are allowed to put in their room, such as a mini fridge, microwave, those types of things?
So in August, we usually send out a letter stating what students can bring and what students should not bring. Most students, once they go through the room selection process and identify who they want to live with, they will have a conversation with their roommate about, who should bring a micro fridge. Because everyone doesn't need to bring a micro fridge unless you don't want to share. But some students share their micro fridge, some students don't. So you'll bring a micro fridge, which is a microwave oven and a little mini refrigerator combination that you can buy at Target or Costco or online. Students will also bring their own linen, their own toiletries. Students, the linen is usually, we have extra long twin mattresses, so it's about 80 inches long. But again, those extra long twin mattresses can be purchased at Target, Walmart. They can be purchased online. They're pretty easy to find. Students will often bring a laptop or some kind of computer device, tablet. And For their room, again, they usually will bring a lamp or like a small reading lamp and some decorations. But what you don't bring, you can't bring, and it's in the handbook, but you can't bring appliances that might be deemed a fire hazard. So for example, some hot plates, rice cookers are not allowed, and certain appliances over a certain wattage are not allowed. I can't recall off the top of my head, but we will send all that information to you in August. But the primary goal is to ensure fire safety.
Great, thank you for so many details. That's wonderful. That's really touched on a lot of questions that are coming into the Q&A. So thank you for that, Martin. So another question coming in is specific to the LLCs. Someone is asking approximately how many students are accepted into the LLCs?
Yeah, every LLC is different depending on how it's resourced and what capacity they have. Some LLCs have 20 students, some LLCs have 30, 60, and some have as many as 100. So it just depends. There is a template on our website that will give you that information when you go to our to explore our living learning communities. There is a PDF that pops up that will tell you exactly the name of the LLC, who our partner, campus partner is, how many students they accept, the location of that LLC as well, and their focus.
Wonderful, thank you for that. Oh, and when is the housing fee expected to be paid?
Hello, this is Martin speaking again. So there is no reservation fee this year. Normally in the past or at other schools, there's like a reservation fee that you have to submit when you hit enter on your laptop through the housing portal. But the first payment is usually going to be due the Wednesday before classes start or instruction. So if classes start, I think like the 3rd or 4th week in August, I think it's like August 28th or something like that. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but your first room and board payment will be due that Wednesday, and it's usually due after financial aid is dispersed. That's when the housing payment will be due. So normally what usually happens is financial aid will be dispersed, and then before a student is issued a refund, the financial aid office will deduct tuition and room and board fees, and then anything left over will be, a student will be issued a refund.
Great, thank you so much for that information. And there are some good calendars online also for important dates and deadlines. So one of those does include the Students First Center website. So it's students with an S first, studentsfirst.ucmerced.edu. They do have a really great calendar that's towards the bottom of their main screen or website, and you can see that there, and it has a lot of different color-coded things that include housing deadlines as well as payment deadlines, deferred payment options, health insurance waivers, all of those important dates that are really critical before we get started for fall. That's a good place to check out. And also the Students First Center, they also have a mobile application that's available exclusively for iPhones. They're in the process of making that available on Android, so stay tuned for that. But also on that Student First Center mobile application, it also has the great calendar and important dates and deadlines there. So that would be a really easy way for you to keep up with those deadlines while you're on the go. So in case you're not in front of your laptop, you'd have access to that there. And also the other feature with that is that you can, using the mobile app, you can add those important dates to your phone. So it'll actually give you some alerts whenever those deadlines are coming up. So it's quite handy for the iPhone users. Again, that is upcoming pretty soon with Android as well. Let's take a look, see what other questions we have here that are coming in. Let's see, so someone's asking about if there's any type of appeal process so that they don't need to live on campus for the first 2 years.
So I'll go ahead and answer that. There is an exemption to the residency requirement. You can find that on our website. There are different criteria that a student must meet in order to be eligible for an exemption. So I would, because every situation is different, I would recommend that you check out that the website.
That's great. Maria, by chance, do you know which website that is? Can we mention that to them?
Yeah, so housing, let me see, I should know this.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I just know that that'll be a
Yeah,
follow-up
no,
question.
and I think actually if you change the site, the slide, if you have an opportunity, because all of our information is there. Yeah, so housing.ucmerced.edu, and then it'll, that website up there, that's where.
So it'll be
That's
this
where you can find it.
portion, right? The housing.ucmerced.edu. That's the main portion of the housing website.
That's correct.
Yes, and then of course, as you dive deeper into the site, you'll end up with these slashes and other things. But if you just go to that main housing website, housing.ucmerced.edu, I think you should be able to see my mouse kind of going underneath there. That would be the main housing website that you're referring to, correct?
Yes, and that's where you will find like prices for doubles, triples, and quads. That's where you will find information about the meal plan as well. Those are different. So another area you can look up more information about the pavilion and your dining options are dining@ucmerced.edu as well.
Excellent. Such great information coming out with these wonderful questions coming, and our expert panelists. Thank you so much for those details and the URLs for people to check out later on. So another question about housing coming in. People are wondering if the first year students, if they have access to apartments or just the residence halls.
Right now, first year students are only, I think they're the only place we are housing them are the resident halls.
Okay, and then a follow-up question is, how difficult is it to get into one of the double rooms as opposed to the triple or quads?
Hello, this is Martin. It's not very hard to get a double room. That's actually pretty easy. Most students desire a quad or a triple because they're price conscious. Singles and doubles, we have plenty of space for those who want it. And going back to the earlier question, if I heard it correctly, the apartments, first year students, brand new first year students are never assigned to an apartment. In the past, we have assigned transfer students, but for fall 2020, we no longer will have our master lease apartments. We will only have housing on campus. We used to have a master lease, which was we had these apartments about 3 miles off campus. When we didn't have any housing, we needed it to accommodate students. But now that our 2020 project is completed, we will have enough housing to accommodate usually everyone on campus, and our master lease has ended.
Great, thank you so much for that information, Martin. So another couple questions about housing. So this person is wondering the bathroom situation again. We did have something similar earlier, but we'll go ahead and address this one as well. So they're asking, in the residence halls and the dorm rooms, since they don't have bathrooms actually in the room, how many students on each floor share particular bathrooms?
Hi, Maria. Well, Maria, I'll answer this one. And Ricky, let me know if I misunderstood the question. Okay, there are 3 main, well, actually there's 4 primary residential communities. The oldest one is called the Valley Terraces Suites. The Valley Terrace Suites are usually double rooms shared by 2 students, and the bathroom is not cleaned by the custodians. So it'll be 4 to 6 students sharing a suite. The students will clean their own bathrooms, but it's 4 to 6 students. So they come up with a cleaning schedule. They will buy their own cleaning supplies, and they will clean the bathroom. That is also true in our Sierra Terraces community, which is Mariposa and Tuolumne. A lot of students like Sierra Terraces because of its location. It's kind of in the center of the campus. It's also right across your street from the rec center, and it's in close proximity to the dining hall and the library. So for location, a lot of students select that. However, if you don't like to clean your own bathroom, then you don't want to live in Sierra Terraces because, again, the custodial staff will not go in there because they have Jack and Jill bathrooms. And so the custodial staff don't want to key in, walk through someone's room to get to the bathroom, clean it, and then walk out. So again, just like the Valley Terraces and the Sierra Terraces, those communities, the students clean their own bathroom, and it's shared by 4 to 6 students. All the other residential communities, which include Half Dome, Cathedral Tenaya, also known as the Summits, or if you go to the 2020 project side, we have 4 new buildings: Glacier Point, Granite Pass, I think it's Sentinel Rock, El Portal. Those buildings are all traditional residence halls. They have bathrooms that will serve close to 50 students, but there's multiple showers, multiple sinks, multiple toilet stalls. And so off the top of my head, you'll have at least 5 to 6 showers. You'll have 5 to 6 toilet stalls and about 6 to 8 sinks. But those are your traditional residence halls. And usually the bathrooms are shared between 30 to 40 students per wing. But that's per the building code. So hopefully that answered the question. Ricky, let me know if you need me to elaborate.
I think that was wonderful. I think you went above and beyond what they were asking. So that's great. That was really good information. And I have to say, I think I feel a little bit better about when I was in the dorms, I didn't have to clean mine, although I can definitely tell you my dorms were not nearly as luxurious as the ones that we have at UC Merced. So maybe buying a little cleaning products and wiping down the counters isn't such a bad compromise. Okay, so the next one, which we may have kind of covered a little bit, but specifically this person is asking to clarify, do we have housing that is co-ed, or is every residence hall, is everything co-ed?
So we have co-ed residence halls. Everything is co-ed. Unless someone selects gender inclusive housing, then we do have some spaces that are not co-ed. They could be mixed gender.
Perfect. Now this question has to do with whether or not our campus is open right now. So as we know, we are a public location, and so people are allowed to come onto campus, but also given the current state of everything going on with COVID-19, the question specifically is asking, is campus open for someone to do a driving tour, if they can come to campus and drive wherever the streets are accessible to them?
Hello, this is Martin again. The way I would answer that question is the campus is open, but we are encouraging everyone to follow the stay-at-home order per the governor and the state of California. So we cannot encourage campus tours. We just want everyone to follow the stay-at-home order. However, if you're local and for whatever reason, if you're in Merced, it is possible for you to walk onto campus and walk around. I would suggest, though, that you might want to park at Lake Yosemite and walk or ride a bike or skateboard over to campus, which is about 15-20 minute walk or a 5-10 minute bike ride, depending on how fast you ride. I'm not sure if transportation and parking is ticketing. I mean, the parking lots are empty, so you could park in the parking lot. I just don't know if you're going to get a ticket or not. And I don't want you to get mad at me. So I would suggest you park at Lake Yosemite, which is owned by the County of Merced. It might be open, it might be closed. Again, it depends on the county. And I can't recall what Merced County is doing, if they closed all the parks and just opened the golf course. But you could, I know right now I come to campus every day because we still have 350 students on campus, but I know the Merced bus is running. So you could catch the Merced bus, and that drops you off right on campus, and you could walk around. I think it's about $1.50 to ride the Merced bus. You could catch it downtown, or there's information on the website. But you could do some of those things. You could also park on the street. It's about, I know there's like street parking about a mile from campus, but it's a nice walk if it's not too hot in the morning, and you can walk on the campus. But again, we're not encouraging that because we have to follow the stay-at-home order.
Wonderful response. Thank you so much. I know we are in some kind of challenging times right now, very unique that we haven't necessarily faced before. So good questions coming in. Great response, Martin. And actually,
can I add to that, Ricky?
Yes, of course. I was just going to toss it to you. You're a mind reader.
Thank you, Martin, for sharing that information. I was going to mention the same thing. You know, we're not really encouraging. We want to make sure we want to definitely value your safety and health for sure. But if you choose for any reason to do so, I did provide my information earlier. You're more than welcome to give me a call once you're on campus. I'm more happy to assist if you're already there. But again, you know, we're not really encouraging individuals to be on campus. But for any reason, like I said, being on campus is a huge factor in deciding, you know, whether the campus is a fit for you or not. And I'm a UC Merced alum myself, and visiting the campus was a big part. And so the other portion, remember, you can visit the virtual tours. There's 3 different ways to view them. And earlier, someone had asked the question, do I have to make an appointment? No, at any time, these virtual tours are accessible for you at the comfort of your home, your couch, living room, outside in your patio with the coffee, you know, enjoy it. And after you're done with the tour, a virtual tour, feel free to message me. I mean, I'm more than happy to speak with you and answer more questions one-on-one. And if you want a student perspective, I can always get one of the student tour guides on the call with me, and we can go that route as well. So just wanted to add that for all of you as an option as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Juan Romn. Again, you're a complete mind reader. I was just about to ask you if you wanted to address that as well. So that was perfect timing. Okay, so there's a question coming in from a parent that has to do with their student's financial aid package, and they're asking specifically if we can give them a little bit more information on work study. So yes, I can give you a little more information on that. What work study is, it's actually a federal award. So it's federal work study is what you'll see on the financial aid award letter. And what that means is that we do offer 2 different types of jobs for student employment on campus. One would be the federal work study option, and the other would be non-federal work study. Now, there's not much different between the 2. So let's say, for instance, if you have 2 students and they both happen to work in the same department, one is federal work study funded and one is a non-federal work study funded, their job duties won't necessarily be any different. It's only where their paycheck is coming from. So the way it works for federal work study students who are eligible, they can apply for that position. And if they get that job, then their paycheck that they get every 2 weeks, they'll just still get one paycheck, but a portion of that funding of their paycheck will come from their financial aid award from the federal work study. About 75% of their paycheck would come from their financial aid award. The other 25% comes from that department or office that they work for. Now, on the student side, they don't notice any difference. It's just on the back end of where the funding is coming from. For a non-work study student, they get the same paycheck every couple weeks the same way. They also wouldn't notice what fund the money's coming from. It's just a matter of whether or not they have that award and if they've applied for that particular type of job. On our website for jobs, you can take a look. There are 2 different links that are there, and one would be specific for the federal work study positions, and the other one would be for any campus job for student employment. What you would want to do is go to the website of jobs.ucmerced.edu. Again, it's jobs, so with an S on the end, jobs.ucmerced.edu. And once on that site, on the left-hand side, there's a link kind of towards the top. It says student. Once you click on that link, you will then see a few other options. one of them being federal work study positions. So you'd click on that and take a look and see what's being offered. And I will tell you, I haven't gone to the site recently myself, but usually this time of year, you may not see too many things being offered. However, granted that everything in fall goes as usual, you may start seeing more positions start popping up during the summer, and even sometimes a little bit into the fall term, you'll start seeing those positions opening up. So I hope that that helped answer that question. Let's take a look and see what else we have here. Let's see, here's actually another financial aid question. Let me go ahead and hit on this one. So this particular person is saying that they submitted a FAFSA financial aid application back in February and they haven't heard anything quite yet. So they're asking if there's anyone that they can speak to. So anyone that has any type of question regarding their financial aid award should definitely contact the Students First Center. Their number again is 209-228-7178. Again, 209-228-7178. And for any of this information that any of us are actually mentioning tonight, you can always go on Google and type in UC Merced and whatever topic it is, and more than likely the first link that comes up will be the one that you're looking for. So it's no different for this. You can go to Google, put UC Merced, Students First Center, and I guarantee their website will be one of the first that pops up. You can give them a call, and they do have specialists that are well-versed in financial aid, so they likely could answer those specific questions for you. If you do, however, need to speak to a specialist in financial aid, they can definitely get you connected over there as well. Let's see what else we have. Someone's asking about what type of storage space is available per person in the residence halls.
I don't have the exact square footage, but I will say that you want to not bring your entire room. Don't bring your entire room. It just depends on the setup of the room and how many items each person decides to bring. As soon as you begin to have roommate selection conversations, or you know who your roommates are going to be, I recommend that you begin to have conversations about who can bring what to try to minimize the amount of items you will have in the room to maximize your space.
Great, thank you so much for that one. And let's see. Then we also have a follow-up question to that. Someone's asking, how safe are the dorms or the residence halls when it comes to housing everyone's personal belongings?
So every student is assigned a CAT card, which is your ID, and that is required to have access to your building. You can only enter the building that you're assigned to. You and your roommates are issued a key. If a key is lost, we then have to recore and reissue keys to everybody. But as far as folks who are allowed into the resident halls, we only allow students who are assigned to that resident hall to enter that resident hall, if that makes sense. And so your CAT card is essentially what swipes you in and out for access. So I'd have to say that they're pretty safe. Again, Elizabeth talked about how she's felt safe on campus. And to be honest, I oversee the students who live on campus, and we have very minimal, conflict among roommates when things are misplaced. Usually they're found. I have not seen an incident where something has been broken into or folks are like missing valuable things, right? And so it's pretty well managed as to who has access to the building and who has access to your room. And that includes your guests. So if you have a guest that comes on to visit you, you are responsible for that guest and all of their actions. So if something happens where the guest violates a policy, you will be spoken to about that. And so there is conduct. There are policies that we have in place for your safety and ours. And so I think that's what I have to say about that, I guess, when it comes down to like the items in your room.
Perfect, thank you. This is a real easy, I think, yes or no. Someone's asking if they're allowed to bring TVs.
They are allowed to bring TVs. We have a lot of students who are gamers and and like to have their own setup. And so, yes, you are allowed to bring TVs. I would say wait until you purchase one, though, so that you get an idea of how big of a TV you can have in the room. Again, a lot of these items that you want to bring might be a good idea that you wait up until the week that you move in, so that you get so you have a clear picture of how much space you have.
Okay, great. And then someone is asking a question about the library and asking if the library is open 24 hours as well as the different food options on campus, how late those areas are open.
I can go ahead and answer that based on my experience. Currently, they're both not open 24/7. The library is not, but I know that specifically during finals week, the library is open 24/7. We also have a commuter's lounge that is open pretty late for students who do commute. And the first floor of the library is generally open for people to come in and out. The dining center I know has hours. You can find that on dining.ucmerced.edu. They keep that updated as well with like menus and food truck vendors that will be there this week. And so it's a good place to kind of connect and figure out what'll be happening that week.
Perfect, thank you, Elizabeth. And another question about dining. Can someone speak briefly about the vegetarian or vegan options that we do offer?
Hello, Ricky. This is Martin. So the dining team in the pavilion, what they try to do is they plan weekly menus to try and provide 2 or 3 vegetarian menu options at every station. There's at least 7 different food stations. You know, like one will be Asian food, I think Mexican, Italian. There's like a burger grill option. There's, I think, a pizza station. And then there's a large salad bar. But I know for the dining team, what they try to do to meet everyone's palates, taste, they try to provide 2 or 3 vegan, vegetarian options at every station. And if you have a special diet and you cannot find what you're looking for, they are very happy to speak with students and try to find a customized menu specifically to meet your dietary restrictions. All you have to do is when you come to campus, you can stop by the housing office or the dining office, or if you feel comfortable, you can just approach one of the chefs in the dining services building or the pavilion and ask them about talking to the chef about, you know, coming up with a special menu because you have certain dietary restrictions.
Great, thank you so much. So we are getting really close to our 8 o'clock cutoff point for this special event. We may go just a moment or two over. Let me go ahead and see if there's any other questions that we haven't addressed yet. A lot of these are repeats, so I don't want us to jump back into the same thing. Someone did ask about federal work study and how they would know if they were awarded. That would be on your financial aid award letter. So your entire financial aid award would show up on that financial aid award letter. So if you don't see it listed there, then that was something that the student was not eligible for. If you do have questions about that though, then the student can give the Students First Center a call. And I gave that number earlier, but it's 209-228-7178. And let's see here, we'll find one more question. And can someone give the information again on the different meal plan options? That's another question I've seen several times here. So maybe mention that website and just a general recap over what type of meal plan we offer.
So for the fall 2020, they only offer one unlimited meal plan. It's not like at other campuses where students may have 2 or 3 different meal plan options. For the fall 2020 semester, UC Merced will offer one unlimited meal plan. And one of the reasons why they're doing that is to address food security issues with the student population. And basically, when you buy your meal plan as part of your room and board housing contract, you will go to the dining pavilion, and when you're in the building, you can choose, I think it's again, to go to one of 7 different stations, or you can visit the salad bar. They also have like a dessert area, and you can pretty much select whatever you want to eat. And then if you choose to, you can go back for seconds or thirds, as much as you want. You can eat and again, just choose your menu items, whatever you want to eat, or whatever they're serving that day. Or I know a lot of students get creative and they'll customize. They'll walk to different stations and come up with some creative menu item that they put on their own plate. So that's how you do it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can go, if you have a meal plan, you just go whenever the dining pavilion is open, and that's pretty much how it works. But there's only one meal plan, and it's an unlimited meal plan for fall 2020.
Wonderful. And Martin, if you can stay on with us, just as our final kind of wrap up from you right now, would you mind just doing a recap over the COVID-19 and the questions that we had earlier about how UC Merced is kind of facing that and thinking about different options for the fall?
So right now, the UC system is having conversations to discuss what the fall semester or the fall quarter, if you're on a quarter system like UCLA or UC Davis. The chancellors are meeting weekly to discuss what the fall semester quarter will look like. They have not made a decision yet as a system because they're still gathering information from the state and from the federal agencies, and from also local, city, and county ordinances, because we all have to work with different municipalities. But they hope to make a decision very soon, most likely sometime in May. I think they will make a decision about the fall semester. For now, they're just considering all their options for the fall in terms of, will they, depending on how everything plays out, will we go remote? Will we continue remote online learning? We have decided, summer session will be all remote online learning. But should we continue to do that for the fall, or will we do some kind of hybrid? Will we offer some kind of hybrid experience where some classes are online, some classes are in person? They're just looking at all the different options and trying to make a decision. But the reason why it takes so long is because the university, in order to make an informed decision, we have a process in the UC system it's a philosophy too, called shared governance. So once we get information from the state and the federal government, the senior leadership will collaborate amongst the whole system. But we also have to deal with, there's multiple unions. There's at least 10 different unions that have to be consulted. One is the faculty union, so they have to be consulted. All of the represented staff have to be consulted. And then they have to take into consideration the staff. And so it's just a very collaborative process, which in terms of making decisions can kind of take a very long time. And in terms of making that decision, again, they want to have the best information possible and the most informed decision. So that's why it's taking a while for the system to come to a decision about the fall semester. They are working on it, and they're looking at all the different scenarios, and they want to provide the best experience, the best learning experience, the best campus experience for students. But they have to go through this process, and it just takes time. So we're just asking for everyone's patience as they deliberate and try to make a good decision that's in the best interest of the students and the staff and the faculty.
Great. Thank you so much for that really comprehensive response. I know we've had a lot of questions coming in about that. So hopefully everyone from the beginning to the middle to now at the end of our presentation, hopefully they were able to catch that at some point. So much appreciated. At this time, we have hit that mark, or possibly a few minutes over the 8 o'clock mark. What I'd like to do right now, since we had such a large panel of experts, is just go around and let everyone have an opportunity to give their final thoughts on their area of expertise. And I know some of the folks we have here, I'll give them a moment to think of what they'd like to say as I'm tossing this to them. But Iona is here as our admissions person, representative, or expert. We do have Jason from orientation. We have Juan Romn from the Welcome Center and has a lot of information about campus tours and drone tours. We have Lourdes, who is a parent to one of our students. We have Maria from housing, and of course Martin, who you just heard from as well. So I'm going to start with our admissions expert, Iona. If you can give us some insight or any final tips, words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with, and then I will let you pick the next person to go after you. Iona?
Yeah, thank you everyone. Again, pleasure to be assisting you all this evening. Major tip is just to ensure that your students are checking their emails as well as their UC Merced portal daily. I know at this time they're probably saturated with a lot of communication from other universities that they have been admitted to. But right now it's super important, especially since the May 1st deadline is coming up very soon. So just making sure they're checking their portal and responding to our inquiries if they're getting any from our campus. And congratulations to you all. And yes, we'll have Jason with our Bright Success Center. Go next.
Jason, it's all yours. Words of wisdom? Final
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all for joining in and being here. Looking through the chat and the Q&As, there's a lot of great questions that you all are asking. And sort of from my perspective and thinking about orientation, there are so many folks like UC Merced who are very passionate about making sure that you have the information to make an informed decision and help you feel good about the decisions that you are making. We are committed within the orientation program, the Bright Success Center, to ensuring a smooth transition for both the students as well as you, the parents and families and loved ones of our students. And so continue to ask good questions. No such thing as a dumb question. We will entertain them all. We do the best we can to answer them as quickly as we can, knowing that, as has been mentioned numerous times, there's a lot of things that are still actively being developed at this time, and we'll do the best we can, all things considered. So we look forward to seeing you all through our online orientation experience this summer, and hopefully in the fall semester as well.
Thank you, Jason. I'll let you go ahead and choose who the next panelist should be.
Oh, absolutely. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Juan.
Juan Romn, you're on.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Just following on from what they both mentioned, we are here to provide you a smooth transition to the University of California, Merced, provide you with the most up-to-date information as we get it. And feel free at any time to contact us. In my current situation, I want to provide you the campus experience. Although it cannot be in person, I want to be able to provide you that via virtual drone tours. So please visit them. As soon as you visit a virtual tour, register for that student panel. That way you get that student experience and that questions, answers. You probably didn't get questions, answers here, more related to student experience. So take that virtual tour, sign up for a student panel. And again, if you choose to visit the campus for any reason, just be safe and contact me and I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. So with that, I'll let Maria.
Thank you, Juan. Again, I just want to let you all know that here at Residence Education, we're here to support you with your transition from living at one home to moving into your new home. And we really do focus on your safety, wellness, and success. We understand that every student has different goals to accomplish, not only personally, academically, but also professionally. And so we're here to provide you with those resources, working collaboratively with all of our campus partners. And I want to encourage you all to participate in our living learning communities. Most of our living learning communities, if not all, also have webinars happening. If not on Bobcat Day, they are scheduled throughout this week. So I encourage you all to learn more about those. And I look forward to seeing everybody and welcoming our new Bobcat family. And I'll go ahead and hand it over to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Maria. So hi again, my name is Elizabeth. I just want to say that as a student, I want to, first of all, congratulate you and welcome you. College in general is such an exciting time for not only students, but families. My mom, a lot of the time, felt like she was going to college with me. And so welcome that support and that encouragement. I know that at times it can be hard to appreciate the ways that they are supporting you, but enjoy it and appreciate it as much as you can, and enjoy this time that you're getting to select the university that you'll attend and begin to transition into college life. I know that there's a lot going on in the world, but the best thing you can do for yourself is really take the time to learn, what's going to be the best fit for you, and really ask those questions. If you have any questions as a family member and you took nothing else from this presentation, you can go ahead and contact me and I will direct you to wherever you need to be directed. I'll go ahead and put the parent phone number in the chat one last time so that you can get access to it if you need it. And I welcome you to the Bobcat family. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Lourdes, my mom.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I just want to welcome you guys and welcome everyone and just let you know, as my daughter being a fourth-year student, I'm honored to have been part of the Bobcat community, and I'm extremely proud of her experiences, and I don't even know how to put it into words of how I'm 300 miles away. So I can honestly tell you, for those of you who have any fears or doubts, trust the process. UC Merced has such an amazing, they have such amazing resources, and everyone is willing to lend a hand and really just walk you through the process. So reach out to them. They're there to answer your questions and to really welcome you. And once again, congratulations and good luck with everything. And they're here to answer your questions. And I am too, in case you have any additional questions. Good night.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lourdes. And to everyone on our expert panel, I am so impressed with all of your levels of expertise. We've covered a great amount of ground with all of the topics tonight. And I would like to just acknowledge that we have actually answered over 200 questions, not only live, but also through the Q&A chat feature. And even having said that, we still have quite a few that we didn't get to. So just to let our audience know, what I will be doing is running those questions off so that way we can take a look at those and try to get some email responses back to you. Elizabeth and I have committed to doing that, so we will do that as quickly as possible for those of you who may not have had your question answered during the presentation. Having said that as well, I just want to let everyone know that we do have a recording available of this event within a couple days. It will be available on admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. Again, admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. This has been one of the events that is a part of a bigger series that we are calling the Admitted Student Webinar Series. If you go to that website that I just gave you, admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars, you will see a long list of other events that are coming up. We've had quite a few, pretty much every day actually, for the month of April. So if you want to take a look and see what recordings we have available, we are adding those every day as we get those edited and ready for you. And then not to mention also upcoming events. So every night through this month of April, we do have other events coming up. Also, one of our huge events that we're all very excited to announce is Virtual Bobcat Day. So usually this is an event that we hold on campus, but due to this current state of affairs, we didn't want to miss out on that and the opportunity to engage with our new incoming class of students. So we decided to do a Virtual Bobcat Day. So what that means is that we are going to do our very best to provide a similar experience for all of you and your families, and it will be completely virtual online, and that is coming up this Saturday. So if you think about it, you actually get to experience all the fun of that day, get lots of good information, have a lot of Q&A opportunities as well, so the live question and answer sessions, and you get to do all of that from the comfort of your own home. So what's better than that, right? So if you would like more information about that, we do have an exclusive website, bobcatday.ucmerced.edu. Again, bobcatday www.ucmerced.edu. You will have an opportunity on that website to take a look at the agenda so you can see what to plan for that day, which sessions you may want to attend. Of course, we hope that you register for everything, all the way from the 9 o'clock opening from our Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Charles Neese, all the way through the end of that day's events, which would include some student panels. So hopefully you'll take a look there at bobcatday.ucmerced.edu, and we will see you this Saturday. One last thing again, I just want to thank everyone that was in attendance. We had a great turnout. Again, thank you to our panelists tonight. Could not have done this wonderful event without all of you here. So on behalf of the University of California, Merced, all of my fabulous colleagues that were online chatting with us tonight as well as on screen, we would just like to bid you a wonderful evening and thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you on Saturday.